You've been feeling mentally and physically sluggish. Maybe you've put on some extra weight or are dealing with health problems that take a lot of time and care to fix. Major life events may have happened. Maybe you had a child or are dealing with a divorce or the passing of a loved one. Work is far from energizing. You're not at your 100%. So you try even harder. Dig yourself a hole even deeper. Nothing feels good. Your thoughts are completely out of control. There is one way out though, but you've already rejected it. You're calling yourself lazy, a coward, a quitter. I am talking about taking a sabbatical. If you've started feeling this way, the best thing to do right now is take a break. The S word is very dreaded in the high performance tech industry, but at times, this is what you need to do to save your life. I took a long sabbatical from a job and a career that was paying very well, but I needed the time to heal. I was burnt out, a new mom, dealing with young children, and I just didn't have the energy to give my 100% to either my kids or my job. So if you've been thinking about taking a break, this video might be the right one for you. I break down everything about what you need to know, how to plan a sabbatical, what do you do during a sabbatical, how do you manage your finances, and how do you get back to work once you're done with this break. So first, let's talk about why would someone need a sabbatical in the first place. If your mental health is suffering and you're not able to give your 100% to your work, this is a good time to reconsider, take it slow, and see what you can do. You've been working in this industry for maybe 5, 8, or 10 years, and you've never taken a vacation for maybe more than 2 to 4 weeks. Something may have happened in your personal life, and that's creating this deep trauma that you're not able to come out of without separating your mind from the daily work that you do. Maybe you've gained a lot of weight. This is not uncommon. Usually, you would be ignoring your physical health too. Maybe you got a health diagnosis that doesn't make sense. You're young and it shouldn't be happening at this age. These are all the signs that a sabbatical might be a good fit for you. I know many of you watching are software engineers, and if you've been working in high-tech jobs and making decent income, at least I'm hoping that you have some savings and you can use that money to power through this tough time in your life. I understand that some of you might not even have anything to fall back on, and unfortunately it's going to be a very tough time if you're not able to take a break financially. But if you are in a position where it is possible for you to survive for the next 3 to 6 months or even a year, all I want to say in this video is that you do not need someone else's permission to take a sabbatical. All you have to do is permit yourself. Things are going to be okay and you're going to come back fine to the same career, even the same job. The next thing I want to talk about is why isn't it very common for people to take sabbaticals? The answer is simple. You don't see too many people doing this, and that's why you just think that you are crazy thinking about taking a 6-month break. This is one of the things that we get peer pressured into, but it doesn't make sense. Right from when you were a kid, you went to school, then you went to college, then you started working. Almost your entire life, say you're in your mid-30s, for the last 30 years, you've been just doing stuff that others have told you to do. You've been on someone else's schedule. But it's not okay in our society to take a little bit of a break, even 1 or 2 years in this 60 years of life. You're expected to retire at 60. That number doesn't even make sense. But taking a sabbatical, a mid-career break, is supposed to be a big taboo. And I want to challenge that notion today. It shouldn't be a big taboo. If you feel tired and unrested, it is okay to take a break. Another reason why someone might not want to take a sabbatical is they think that they're going to be falling behind in their career. You're afraid that you won't be able to come back to the same position, the same pay, but don't worry about it. I'm going to talk about how you will not be falling behind, or how to even come back to your career or a job with the same or higher amounts of pay. A sabbatical can actually enhance your career. I really want to delve deep on this point because opposite to the popular notion, this career break will help enhance your skills. The benefits won't be obvious right now because the way we are taught to think about our careers is very linear. The amount of pay that you're making. I've even seen engineers go from one job to the other. They stop working on a Friday and they join their company the next Monday. They will not take even a couple of weeks to themselves because it's unpaid. They think that this is kind of like a loss, that these 2 weeks went unpaid and there is no way to cover this loss. Once we get out of this linear mental thinking, it's easier to understand why in the long run you may be able to make even more money. Right now, if your mental and physical health is suffering and you keep working and you keep going down that hole, you will be burning out very soon and you'll have to take a break from work without having a say in it. That will cost you a lot more money. It'll be a much longer break than taking something before a lot of damage happens. Taking a break and working on other skills that you've been ignoring, maybe there are some hobbies that you've not looked into, is going to energize you. Not just your physical self, but your inner soul. There are many examples of extremely successful people that do diverse set of activities and don't just focus on their daily jobs day after day in this mundane way. So, for example, Roger Federer isn't the greatest tennis player in the world because he's played a lot of tennis. It's because he's played a lot of other sports and has partaken into many other activities. So if you're a software engineer and all you do is code all day long, it is going to benefit you a lot by just taking a good amount of break from it and doing something that has nothing to do with coding. Maybe you start making hats from coconut leaves. It's going to give you this new dexterity and your brain is going to change. Maybe you learn how to dance and create choreography. It's going to improve your creativity. Or you just spend time in nature. There is nothing better than that to refill your juices than spending time in nature. So I'm going to talk more about what you do during a sabbatical, but you get the idea that a sabbatical is not going to destroy your career. If anything, it's going to enhance it because you will be recharging your skills, your diverse skill sets, improving your mental health and your physical health. So let's break this taking a break into 3 stages. The number 1 stage is that you decide and commit. So you do the planning right now of what you're going to do during this time. Then the second stage will be to actually go ahead and take that leap, take that sabbatical, and understand what are the things that you'll be doing and how long it'll be. The last stage of taking a sabbatical is actually planning to go back to work. So when will that happen? Will it be the same company that you're gonna work for, or you're gonna find a completely new job, completely new domain or career? So we're gonna talk about all of these 3. So number 1, plan. Talk to a colleague that is close to you, someone that you trust, or a mentor. Ask them what do they think about this idea. Let them know what problems you're going through. You're going to get a lot more strength talking to a person who is empathetic and understanding than just brewing these thoughts inside your head. So feel free to share this with someone trustworthy, and see what they say about it. If they're not being supportive, I'd say just keep trying, talk to people, especially try to reach out into your network and talk to people who've done it firsthand themselves and how their experience was. What did they do? How were they able to go back to work? This is going to give you a lot of encouragement because this is something scary and you don't see many people doing. So once you know somebody who's done it, or a mentor who's helping you and motivating you as your cheerleader, you'll get a lot more confidence. Another thing that you might want to plan is your finances. I would highly recommend you to not look at how much money you're going to lose, but while keeping your expenses fairly low, but only spending on things that are valuable to you and bring you fulfillment, what is the bare minimum that you could spend because you won't be making any money or little to no money during this time? What could be your budget? And how would you go about this period financially? You'll also be surprised at how many expenses you won't have to make because you're not going to work. There are a lot of work expenses. If you're commuting to work, if you have to buy some specialized clothing or things like that for going to work, you'll be saving a lot of money in that department. So sit down, think about your expenses, what you're going to spend on, what you're not going to spend on, and create a financial plan of how you're going to pull this off. Another thing that you could be doing during this planning period is actually talk to your manager if you can, or the HR of the company. Some companies do have 3 months kind of unpaid sabbaticals. I believe Google does. Every 5 years you can take a month off. So see if they have a time period that they can work with you if you feel like coming back to the same company. See if they have some programs that you guys can work out together. If your company only gives you a 3 month sabbatical and say you need a 6 months or even a 1 year break, it would be best to leave right now on good terms and then come back, join the same company. Just you would not be on their payroll for the next 6 months to 12 months, but you may be able to get the same job, a similar position, or maybe even talk to some other teams, see if they might have some roles that would be open after that period of time. Nobody will make you promises because these things are so dynamic. Companies keep having hiring freezes, so go in with those expectations and know that you might or might not get a job at the same company. Now let's talk about what would you do during this break. One of the best things that you can do during a sabbatical where the time is your own is just to follow your heart. I know it sounds really cheesy and cliche, but really that's the reason you're taking this break. That so far you were only doing things that were being expected of you. Even if you were in a business, you have to do a lot of stuff that the clients and your team expects from you. But during this time, this is strictly me time, and all you work on is the things that truly your heart and soul desire. And some of the practical examples could be just going to the gym for 2 hours every single day. You do a workout class and a foam roll class and come back recharged and energized, or spend a lot of time in nature, do nothing, disconnect from all the devices, all social media, read actual physical books, do a lot of healing, cook your own fresh meals, live slow intentionally, wake up without an alarm. There are so many things that you could be doing with this life and a little bit of newfound freedom. This will also help you a lot to understand what is important to you, what are the things and activities that you might want to do. Look into helping people. Helping people is a very selfish way to take care of yourself, because as a species, we are wired to help others for the survival of the whole species. And I know, at least for me, when I was working my corporate job, I was just going to work, coming back, collecting my paycheck. I did not have that bandwidth to think about helping others, that I would come up with ideas of what I can do for other people, because that truly makes us happy. So if you're dealing with some mental health issues, it might be in your benefit, your favor, to look into ways to help others. So now you've had this time, this peaceful, amazing break, and you feel recharged, you feel refreshed. How do you get back to joining the workforce? Lots of options. I'm hoping during the planning time, you already spoke to some HR or hiring managers in your company. And if you guys had the connection and ability to go back to the same company, great, you won't have a lot of transition to work with. If you got the exact same job as you were doing before, even better, smoother transitions. If you're joining a new team, go in with the excitement and all the newfound skills that you got during this break time. If you are not able to go to the same company, I don't think that's the end of the world. There are so many options these days. Workers are in shortage, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to find another job. And the biggest question that a person taking a long break might have is, what if I talk to the recruiter or the hiring manager and they say, why do you have this 1 year gap in your resume? You might have the fear that they're gonna reject you based on this. But if it's a good fit for you, the kind of person you're trying to become, they're not going to say no to hiring you because you took a year out to save your life. If you were in such terrible mental health that working would have meant terrible things happening, then you deserved that break. I'm really hoping that this hiring manager or recruiter is understanding enough that you wanted to take some time off to focus on yourself, to become physically and mentally stronger so that you could be a better employee. If they are understanding, congratulations, you've found a good spot. And if they're not, then this isn't a good match for you anyway, because who should say no to you for taking some time off to keep yourself alive? That might not be the kind of culture you might be looking for after doing so much healing anyway. I have actually taken a 7-month break. It was a maternity leave, but when I came back, I did go back to the same job, and it did not feel like a huge difference. It took me a couple of weeks to set up my laptop, get back into the dev environment, and I was up and running right after that. So I would just say that you don't even have to worry about, losing all your skill and forgetting everything that you've learned in the past few years. A smaller break compared to the 10 years that you've worked is not going to make you forget things. And it'll just take you a few weeks. Maybe if you went through an interview process, you would have, as a software engineer, studied some algorithms and some latest problems that the world is working on. You'll be up to speed in no time. You've done this before, you'll be able to do it again. So I would just say have a really positive mindset about the time when you go back to work. And another option in this area is that you don't go back to work at all, ever. If you have some entrepreneurial skills and you've been wanting to explore the world of entrepreneurship anyway, you might have, during your sabbatical, started a business or a company, and you might just take the money that you've saved in the last few years to bootstrap that startup, do new things like raise more money, and start a whole company, a whole new chapter of your own. So these are 3 or 4 of the hundreds of options you have when you want to go back to work. Taking this break is not going to break your career. So there you have it. This is how you take a big break in your career without guilt, be confident, and then go back or don't go back to the workforce after this break. I hope this was helpful. It gave you some hope and ideas of healing yourself. Once we start our careers, we are always go, 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 but nobody talks about mid-career breaks that much, especially not at my job. Nobody ever did this. Even a 6-month maternity leave was considered, oh my gosh, that's so long. New moms and dads know how short those 6 months are. So I just say don't feel guilty. Just take that break, heal yourself, and who knows, life might take you in a new direction that you didn't even think. You didn't need that job lifestyle after all that was so toxic. Or maybe this break was all you needed to refill your creativity and get back to the same job and do it 1,000 times better. Let me know if this video inspired you to start thinking about that break, or if you were on the verge, did I nudge you enough to pull the plug? That's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I know your time and attention is valuable, so I am truly grateful that you're here with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.